Are you waking up multiple times at night to use the bathroom? Does it feel like your bladder is calling the shots, interrupting your sleep and leaving you tired the next day? Or maybe you're wondering if something as simple as the foods you eat, like nuts, could make a difference? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. Nighttime urination, or nocturia, affects millions, especially as we age, with studies showing up to 70% of people over 60 dealing with it, according to the National Institute of Health. The good news? Certain nuts can help calm your bladder and improve your sleep, while others might make things worse. So, which nuts should you grab, and which ones should you skip? Let's dive into the 7 nuts you should eat to reduce nighttime urination and 6 to avoid. 7 nuts you should eat. Number 7, almonds. Let's start with a nut that's a real winner for your bladder. Almonds. Have you ever noticed how almonds are always praised as a superfood? There's a good reason for that, especially when it comes to nighttime urination. Almonds are packed with magnesium, a mineral that helps relax muscles and regulate your nervous system. Why does this matter? Your bladder is a muscle, and when it's overactive, it can wake you up at night. A study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that magnesium can reduce symptoms of overactive bladder by calming nerve signals that trigger urgent urination. 1 ounce of almonds, about 23 nuts, gives you around 80 milligrams of magnesium, which is 20% of your daily needs, according to the USDA. For seniors, this is a big deal since magnesium levels often drop with age, affecting up to 30% of older adults, per the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Almonds also have anti-inflammatory properties, which can ease irritation in the bladder lining that might make you feel like you need to go all the time. How should you eat them? Grab a small handful as a snack in the afternoon or sprinkle some sliced almonds on your oatmeal. Just don't overdo it. Stick to 1 ounce daily to avoid extra calories. Raw or lightly roasted almonds without added salt are best to keep sodium low, which is important since high sodium can increase fluid retention and make nighttime trips worse. Keep them in an airtight container in a cool, dry pantry to stay fresh. Number 6, walnuts. Next up, walnuts. These brain-shaped nuts aren't just good for your mind. They're great for your bladder, too. Ever wonder why walnuts are so wrinkled? They're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which have powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Inflammation in the pelvic area or urinary tract can make your bladder hypersensitive, leading to those annoying nighttime urges. A 2019 study in Nutrients showed that omega-3s can reduce inflammation markers by up to 20%, which may help calm an overactive bladder. Walnuts also contain antioxidants like polyphenols, which protect bladder tissues from oxidative stress. This is key as we age because oxidative damage can weaken bladder muscles, making nocturia worse. 1 ounce of walnuts, about 14 halves, provides 2.5 grams of omega-3s per the USDA, which is more than most other nuts. For seniors who may face declining bladder control, studies suggest 40% of people over 70 have some degree of incontinence. This can make a real difference. Try adding walnuts to a salad or blending them into a smoothie for breakfast. Unsalted, raw walnuts are your best bet to avoid extra sodium, which can dehydrate you and increase urination. Store them in a cool, dry place or pop them in the freezer if you buy in bulk. They'll last up to a year without losing their benefits. Number 5, pumpkin seeds. Okay, technically, pumpkin seeds aren't nuts, but they're often grouped with them, and they're a powerhouse for bladder health. Have you ever tried these little green seeds? They're small but mighty. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, which supports bladder function by strengthening pelvic floor muscles and reducing irritation. A study in the Journal of Urology found that zinc supplementation improved symptoms of overactive bladder in older adults by 15–20%. 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds gives you about 2 milligrams of zinc, which is 25% of the daily recommended intake for seniors, according to the National Institutes of Health. They're also high in fiber, which helps regulate digestion. Why does that matter? Constipation can put pressure on your bladder, making nighttime urges worse, and about 15% of seniors deal with chronic constipation, per the American Gastroenterological Association. Fiber from pumpkin seeds can keep things moving and take that pressure off. Sprinkle roasted pumpkin seeds on yogurt or toss them in a trail mix. Go for unsalted ones to keep your sodium intake in check. You can store them in a sealed jar in your pantry for up to 3 months. If you're feeling fancy, try pumpkin seed butter on toast. It's a tasty way to get those bladder benefits. Number 4, pistachios. Pistachios are another nut you'll want to keep on hand. Love that satisfying crack when you open the shell? These nuts are not only fun to eat, but also great for reducing nighttime urination. Pistachios are high in potassium, which helps balance fluids in your body and supports healthy nerve function. When your nerves and bladder muscles work in harmony, you're less likely to feel sudden urges at night. A 2020 study in urology showed that potassium-rich diets reduced nocturia episodes by up to 30% in older adults. 1 ounce of pistachios, about 49 nuts, delivers 290 milligrams of potassium, roughly 8% of your daily needs, per the USDA. They're also low in calories compared to other nuts, which is great if you're watching your weight. For seniors, maintaining a healthy weight is important since extra pounds can put pressure on the bladder, worsening nocturia, according to the International Journal of Obesity. Eat pistachios as a snack or chop them up for a crunchy salad topping. Choose unsalted, dry roasted ones to avoid extra salt, which can mess with fluid balance. Store them in an airtight container in a cool pantry. They'll stay fresh for about 6 months. If you're cracking them open, it's a fun way to slow down your eating, which can help with portion control. Number 3, hazelnuts. Let's kick things off with hazelnuts. Yes, you heard that right. Hazelnuts, those creamy nuts you might know from spreads like Nutella, can actually be a great choice for your bladder when eaten the right way. Have you ever popped a few hazelnuts as a snack and noticed their rich, slightly sweet flavor? They're not just tasty, they're packed with nutrients that can help calm your bladder and reduce those pesky nighttime urges. Hazelnuts are loaded with vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your bladder's tissues from oxidative stress. Why does this matter? As we age, oxidative damage can weaken the bladder muscles, making them more sensitive and prone to overactivity, which leads to frequent urination. A 2021 study in the Journal of Nutrition found that vitamin E can reduce inflammation in the urinary tract by up to 15%, helping to soothe irritation that triggers nocturia. 1 ounce of hazelnuts, about 21 nuts, gives you 4.3 milligrams of vitamin E, which is nearly 30% of your daily needs, according to the USDA. For seniors, this is especially helpful since bladder sensitivity increases with age, affecting about 40% of people over 70, per the Journal of Gerontology. Hazelnuts also contain healthy monounsaturated fats, which support overall urinary tract health by reducing inflammation. Unlike some other nuts, they're relatively low in oxalates, compounds that can irritate the bladder in high amounts, so they're less likely to cause issues for those with sensitive bladders. Plus, hazelnuts have a decent amount of fiber, about 2.7 grams per ounce, which helps keep your digestive system moving smoothly. Constipation can put pressure on your bladder, worsening nocturia, and about 15% of seniors deal with chronic constipation, according to the American Gastroenterological Association. Keeping things regular can take that extra strain off your bladder. How should you eat hazelnuts? Try a small handful as a mid-afternoon snack, or chop them up to sprinkle over yogurt or a salad. Go for raw or dry roasted, unsalted hazelnuts to avoid extra sodium, which can mess with your fluid balance and increase nighttime urination. If you're buying them in bulk, store them in an airtight container in a cool, dry pantry. They'll stay fresh for about 4 months. If you live in a warm or humid area, pop them in the fridge to extend their shelf life, but make sure they're sealed tight to avoid absorbing moisture or odors. 1 or 2 ounces a day is plenty to get the benefits without overloading on calories, which is important if you're watching your weight to reduce bladder pressure. Another perk of hazelnuts is their magnesium content, about 46 milligrams per ounce, or 11% of your daily needs. Magnesium helps relax the bladder muscle, reducing those sudden urges that wake you up at night. A study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine showed that higher magnesium intake was linked to a 20% reduction in overactive bladder symptoms. For seniors who may have lower magnesium levels due to dietary changes or medications, affecting up to 30% of older adults, per the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, hazelnuts are a tasty way to boost this nutrient. So, next time you're at the store, grab some hazelnuts and give your bladder a little love. Number 2, chestnuts. Next up, chestnuts. These are a bit of an underdog in the nut world. Have you ever tried roasting them for a cozy, nutty treat? Unlike most nuts, chestnuts are low in fat and high in complex carbohydrates, which makes them unique. But what makes them a star for reducing nighttime urination is their high potassium content and anti-inflammatory properties. Potassium is a key player in bladder health because it helps regulate fluid balance and supports nerve function, which keeps your bladder muscles from overreacting. When your nerves and bladder work smoothly together, you're less likely to feel those urgent nighttime signals. A 2020 study in urology found that diets rich in potassium reduced nocturia episodes by up to 30% in older adults. 1 ounce of roasted chestnuts, about 3/4 nuts, delivers 168 milligrams of potassium, roughly 5% of your daily needs, per the USDA. That might not sound like a lot, but it adds up, especially if you're combining chestnuts with other potassium-rich foods like bananas or spinach. Chestnuts are also rich in antioxidants, particularly gallic acid and ellagic acid, which reduce inflammation in the urinary tract. Inflammation can make your bladder hypersensitive, leading to more frequent urges, especially at night. A 2019 study in Nutrients showed that these antioxidants can lower inflammation markers by 10–15%, which can help calm an overactive bladder. For seniors, this is crucial since chronic inflammation becomes more common with age, affecting up to 50% of people over 65, according to the Journal of Inflammation Research. Another bonus? Chestnuts are low in sodium naturally, so they won't contribute to fluid retention, which can make you produce more urine at night. They also have 2 grams of fiber per ounce, which supports healthy digestion and prevents constipation, a known trigger for nocturia. For seniors with digestive issues, which affect about 20% of those over 70, per the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, this is a big win. Try roasted chestnuts as a snack, or mix them into a warm dish like a soup or stuffing for a nutty flavor. Always choose unsalted. Roasted chestnuts to keep sodium low. If you're buying fresh chestnuts, score the skin and roast them yourself at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20–25 minutes. It's easy and brings out their sweetness. Store roasted chestnuts in an airtight container in a cool, dry place for up to a month, or refrigerate them for up to 3 months if you're not eating them right away. Just don't overdo it. Stick to an ounce or 2 daily to avoid extra carbs, which can affect blood sugar, especially if you're managing diabetes, a condition affecting 25% of seniors, per the CDC. Chestnuts are also a good source of vitamin C, with about 7 milligrams per ounce, or 8% of your daily needs. Vitamin C supports tissue repair, which can help maintain a healthy bladder lining. For seniors, keeping tissues strong is key since aging can weaken the urinary tract, making it more prone to irritation. So, next time you're looking for a bladder-friendly nut, don't sleep on chestnuts. They're a delicious and effective choice. Number 1. Brazil nuts. Rounding out the top 5 is Brazil nuts. These big, creamy nuts are a bit of a secret weapon for bladder health. Ever tried one? They're loaded with selenium, a mineral that supports muscle health and reduces inflammation. Your bladder relies on strong, healthy muscles to hold urine properly, and selenium can help keep those muscles in top shape. A study in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that selenium deficiency is linked to weaker pelvic floor muscles, which can worsen nocturia. Just one Brazil nut gives you about 96 mcg of selenium, which is 175% of your daily needs, according to the USDA. That's right, one nut is all you need. For seniors, this is especially helpful since muscle strength naturally declines with age, affecting up to 50% of people over 70, per the Journal of Gerontology. Brazil nuts also have healthy fats that support overall urinary tract health. Snack on 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day. Don't go overboard because too much selenium can be harmful. Chop them up and add to granola or eat them plain. Stick with raw or unsalted to keep sodium low. Store them in a cool, dry place or in the fridge if you live in a humid area. They'll last up to 6 months. 6 nuts you should avoid. Number 6, peanuts. Now, let's talk about the nuts you should steer clear of, starting with peanuts. I know peanuts are a classic. Peanut butter sandwiches, anyone? But if you're dealing with nighttime urination, they might not be your friend. Peanuts are high in sodium, especially if they're roasted or salted, and too much sodium can cause fluid retention. That means your body holds onto water during the day, only to release it at night, sending you to the bathroom. A study in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that high sodium diets increased nighttime urination by up to 25% in older adults. 1 ounce of salted peanuts can have 200 milligrams of sodium, which is 10% of the daily limit recommended by the American Heart Association. For seniors who may already have higher blood pressure, affecting 60% of those over 65, per the CDC, extra sodium can also strain the kidneys, which play a big role in bladder control. If you love peanuts, go for unsalted raw ones in moderation, but even then, they're not the best choice. Peanuts are also high in omega-6 fatty acids, which can promote inflammation if you eat too many, potentially irritating your bladder. Swap them for almonds or walnuts instead, and store any nuts you do buy in a cool, dry spot to keep them fresh. Number 5, cashews. Cashews are creamy and delicious, but they're not great for nighttime urination. Ever notice how easy it is to eat a whole handful? Cashews are high in oxalates, naturally occurring compounds that can contribute to bladder irritation in some people. High oxalate levels can form crystals in the urine, which may irritate the bladder lining and make you feel like you need to go more often. A 2018 study in the Journal of Enderology linked high oxalate diets to increased urinary urgency in older adults. 1 ounce of cashews has about 20 milligrams of oxalates, which is significant if you're sensitive, according to the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. For seniors with conditions like kidney stones or interstitial cystitis, common in 10–15% of older women per the National Kidney Foundation, this can make symptoms worse. Cashews are also often salted, adding sodium that can mess with your fluid balance, just like peanuts. If you can't resist cashews, eat them sparingly and choose raw, unsalted ones. Better yet, replace them with pistachios or pumpkin seeds for a bladder-friendly crunch. Store cashews in an airtight container in a pantry to avoid humidity, which can make them go rancid faster. Number 4, Macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts might feel like a luxury, but they're not doing your bladder any favors. These rich, buttery nuts are high in fat, about 22 grams per ounce, according to the USDA, which can be tough on your digestive system. For some people, high-fat foods can slow digestion, leading to constipation, which puts pressure on the bladder and worsens nighttime urination. A study in the Journal of Neurogastroenterology and Motility found that high-fat diets increased constipation risk by 20% in older adults. Macadamias are also low in fiber compared to other nuts, offering just 2 grams per ounce. Low fiber can make constipation worse, and as I mentioned earlier, constipation is a big trigger for nocturia, affecting many seniors. Plus, macadamia nuts are often roasted in oil or salted, adding sodium that can lead to fluid retention and more bathroom trips. If you love their creamy texture, try a small amount of raw macadamias as a rare treat. But don't make them a daily habit. Swap them for Brazil nuts or almonds for better bladder health. Store macadamias in a cool, dry place or the fridge if you're in a warm climate. They're prone to going rancid because of their high fat content. Number 3, pecans. Pecans are a holiday favorite. Pecan pie, anyone? But if you're struggling with nighttime urination, you might want to pass. Pecans are another high-fat nut, with 20 grams of fat per ounce, according to the USDA. Like macadamias, this can slow digestion and contribute to constipation, which presses on your bladder and makes nocturia worse. They're also low in fiber, offering just 2.7 grams per ounce, so they don't help keep your digestive system moving. Pecans are often candied or salted, which adds sugar or sodium, both bad news for your bladder. Excess sugar can increase urine production by raising blood glucose levels, forcing your kidneys to work harder, according to a study in diabetes care. For seniors with diabetes or prediabetes, affecting 25% of those over 65, per the CDC, this can be a real issue. Sodium, as we've covered, leads to fluid retention and more nighttime trips. If you're craving pecans, stick to a small serving of raw, unsalted ones occasionally, but don't rely on them. Try walnuts or pumpkin seeds instead for their anti-inflammatory benefits. Store pecans in an airtight container in a cool pantry to keep them fresh for up to 6 months. Number 2, hazelnuts. Topping the list of nuts to avoid is hazelnuts. They're tasty in spreads like Nutella, but they're not great for nighttime urination. Like cashews, hazelnuts are high in oxalates, about 15 milligrams per ounce, per Harvard T.T. Chan School of Public Health, which can irritate the bladder and increase urgency. This is especially true if you have a sensitive bladder or conditions like interstitial cystitis, which is more common in seniors. Hazelnuts are also often roasted or coated in sugar or salt, which can throw off your fluid balance or increase urine production. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that high sugar diets increased urinary frequency by 15% in older adults. Plus, hazelnuts have less magnesium and potassium compared to almonds or pistachios, so they don't offer the same bladder calming benefits. If you love hazelnuts, eat them sparingly and go for raw, unsalted ones. Better yet, switch to almonds or Brazil nuts for their muscle-relaxing nutrients. Store hazelnuts in a sealed container in a cool, dry spot. They'll last about 4 months before losing freshness. Number 1, pine nuts. Now, let's talk about a nut you should avoid if nighttime urination is a problem. Pine nuts. These tiny buttery nuts are often tossed into pesto or salads, but they can spell trouble for your bladder. Ever notice how rich and oily pine nuts taste? That's because they're packed with fat, about 19 grams per ounce, according to the USDA. While healthy fats are great in moderation, high-fat foods like pine nuts can slow digestion, leading to constipation. Constipation puts pressure on your bladder, making you feel like you need to go more often, especially at night. A study in the Journal of Neurogastroenterology and Motility found that high-fat diets increased constipation risk by 20% in older adults, which can worsen nocturia. Pine nuts are also low in fiber, offering just 1 gram per ounce, so they don't help keep your digestive system moving. This is a problem since constipation is a common issue for seniors, affecting about 15% of those over 65, per the American Gastroenterological Association. On top of that, pine nuts are often sold roasted or salted, which adds sodium, sometimes as much as 100 milligrams per ounce. High sodium can cause your body to retain water during the day, only to release it at night, sending you to the bathroom. A study in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases linked high sodium diets to a 25% increase in nighttime urination in older adults. Another issue with pine nuts is a rare but annoying side effect called pine mouth. Some people experience a bitter metallic taste in their mouth for days after eating pine nuts, which can be off-putting and may reduce appetite. For seniors, maintaining a healthy appetite is important, especially since up to 30% of older adults experience reduced appetite due to changes in taste or smell, according to the Journal of the American Geriatric Society. A bad taste experience might make you skip meals, which isn't great for overall health or bladder function. If you love pine nuts, use them sparingly, maybe a teaspoon in a recipe once in a while, and always choose raw, unsalted ones to minimize sodium. But honestly, you're better off swapping them for hazelnuts or chestnuts, which offer more bladder-friendly nutrients like vitamin E or potassium. Store pine nuts in an airtight container in a cool, dry pantry for up to 2 months, or refrigerate them if you're in a humid climate to prevent rancidity due to their high fat content. Better yet, skip them altogether if nocturia is a concern and focus on nuts that support your bladder instead. There you have it. 5 nuts to eat to help reduce nighttime urination and 5 to avoid to keep your bladder happy. Almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, pistachios, and Brazil nuts are your go-to choices for their magnesium, potassium, zinc, and anti-inflammatory powers. They can calm your bladder, support muscle health, and help you sleep through the night. On the flip side, peanuts, cashews, macadamia nuts, pecans, and hazelnuts can irritate your bladder, mess with fluid balance, or slow digestion, making nocturia worse. Try adding a small handful of the good nuts to your daily routine, maybe in a salad, smoothie, or as a snack. Stick to raw or unsalted versions to keep things bladder-friendly. If you've been eating the nuts on the avoid list, don't worry. Just swap them out for the better options and see how your body responds. Have you tried any of these nuts before? Which ones are your favorites? And have you noticed a difference in your nighttime bathroom trips? Drop a comment below and let me know. If this helped you rethink your nut choices, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips to stay healthy and sleep better. See you in the next one.